I am Michael Kurosh. I live in Santa Barbara, California, one of the most beautiful places on earth. My design center is where people come to reimagine their homes and spaces. I work with the best designers, clients with broad tastes, and experts who navigate the fascinating world of design. I'm always excited to learn something new, and I never say no to a challenge. This is Design Santa Barbara. Welcome to Design Santa Barbara. I'm Michael Kurosh, and we are today in my famous room, the world famous rug room. Today we're gonna explain and show you a few of my favorite rugs, and thank God there's no shortage of them. So anyway, let's dive in, and here is one of my all-time favorite weavings. So we start with this fabulous Afshar rug. Afshar, and in general, the rugs get their name by the location they were woven. That's why they have these exotic names. This is the cities they were woven in, the villages, or the tribe, because tribal people do not have a city or a permanent location, so they call them Afshars. Afshars are the Turkic background people that they moved from current Asia Minor, Turkey, farther south and then farther east to the plateau, the high plateau of Fars in Iran, and they just follow the greener pastures. So they are tribal people. Their main living used to be herding sheep and goat, and hence they were looking for greener pastures for raising these animals. So these Afshars moved south, and they are diverse people. In fact, one of the biggest generals and warriors in the world history comes from this background. It's called Nader Shah Afshar. So he was from this group, and he's one of the better kings, let's say, that part of the world has ever had. So this one is unusual format. It's a little bit bigger than what they usually make, because keep in mind, they make these in wooden looms, and there's always women making these, because in the tribal societies, once again, the tribal societies, women are the ones, they make the decisions. They are the artistic people in the family, and those are the only ones they made weaving. So they said, men, they're good for herding, let them go, shepherds. So get out of the house. So this is what they did. And this is usually big, because they need to get this wooden frame, and they don't finish it in one season or one sitting. So they have to take this thing, and I show probably how long it took this to weave. Probably 4 or 5 years, and it's too big for the tent. But probably they made it for a gift, and there is some indications this was gifted because of its condition. So usually when it goes on the floor, they get worn, because underneath this is probably wreath and then dirt. And then it's winter, it is rainy, it is dry, it's arid. They wear very fast. This one is in very good condition for his age. It was woven around 1870s. The lady used this design that is mostly were associated with clothing or skirt of the court women. And I have a sample here of the fabrics they used to make for the court. This is actually a silk embroidery, and they made these by yard. It took them decades to make these, and then back then they used to cut them and fit them to the queen or the king, and that used to be their clothing. As you can see, they have very similar architecture. Obviously this is degenerated design, and obviously this one has maybe like about 500 stitches per square inch, whereas this one has maybe like 100. So it's a very different DPI, as we call it. But it is the same design, and this is the inspiration. This is the inspiration of this rug. So she made this, and it's beautiful. It looks almost like running water as well. The foundation is wool, Usually they used to have two kinds of wool. They used to get from sheep, which they use for the pile because it's softer, it's pliable, and you can spin it easier. And then they used to have goat hair for the foundation because it's longer, is very hard, and it's hard to twist it. So they use that for the foundation. This particular one has all natural dyes. You can see the range of colors. It's not like you can go to the store like Michael's or Home Depot and buy a gallon of paint and then dye these. They went out in the nature and they got all these colors from the roots of the plants mostly. Like the blue is indigo, red is madder, the ivory is actually chosen from the parts of the sheep that is lighter in color. The brown as well is usually, again, the sheep. You get this eggplant color, which is very unusual. They get it from eggplant shells. You have the green. They use green very sparsely and very selectively because it's a two-dye process. They have to get the yellow from saffron or weld and then get the blue from indigo and combine it. So it's actually twice as much work even dyeing it. So the green is a very rare color to use. And then you have the yellow, which is weld or saffron itself. It is fabulous. And then you see these chevrons, and then you see the color changes. This is like the clouds in the sky. You have this motif that is called Guz and is against evil eye. Here's another one in here. All in all, is a fantastic thing she did, and probably she gifted it, because if you look carefully, the ends are all perfect, and those are the ones that they get worn if it is on the floor after, let's say, 20, 30 years. This is over 150 years of age. So anyway, this is the first rug we show on this episode, and I will open another one. Now we got a special and a rare piece to show you. So this particular one is a Safavid piece. We call them classical rugs because they were woven in the 15th, 16th, and 17th centuries. So this is a Safavid, and the Safavids ruled Iran between 1501 till, if I don't make a mistake, 1736, something in that range. And they were the patrons of art, and these are the people that came to rule after the Mongol invasions and after the turmoil we had in the Middle East. I mean, there still is, but that was even worse. And then they brought calm and peace into that part of Iran, and they united the nation again. So they start spreading poetry, the arts, and one of this was visual arts, which they did these fabulous carpets. And this is particularly in the 16th century, I would say between 1550 to 1600s, they made this rug. And it is not fragmented, but it is in a low pile shape because it was a small one, and obviously after 400 some years, it's reasonable to see it in this shape. So we put a backing on it to protect it from further falling apart. Has had restoration done over the years to it. So this Safavid, they brought this carpet weaving to its highest level possible. So they put motifs in here that they come from different cultures. So like you have these cloud bands, and cloud bands, if you look carefully, they go around. That is a Chinese motif which goes back thousands of years, but through the trade, through the Silk Route, and through the centuries of seeing this, they incorporated here. Actually, now this, I'm going to show it on the camera a little bit when we zoom in, but this is actually a big cloud band that goes behind this palmette, goes around and comes back. And for a rug this size, they put a lot of colors in here. If you look carefully, you have the navy, you have the blue, green, yellow, pink, red, ivory, gold. A lot of color range for a tiny rug like this. This is roughly a 4x6. Usually they are in long gallery sizes because back then the rooms were shaped as such that they were narrow and long. They were not wide and big, unless very few spaces. And they used to impress the visitors by having these carpets one after another, and this is only royalty could afford it back then. If you think about it, you're talking 1500s, and most people barely could afford having a bread for dinner, let alone have a carpet woven, and only super wealthy could afford this thing. Kings, emperors, popes, and this is one of the nicest gifts anybody could give. So the kings in Iran used to give this to European kings as, you know, a gift, and then somehow like a bribe to, you know, politicians and dignitaries. Has fantastic designs in it. Again, the cloud bands are beautiful. You see it through. You have the palmettes, you have lotus flowers, you have rose flowers, and it's hard to see it through TV and through camera. You gotta see this and feel it in person. It is a powerful statement. So this is one of the nicest rugs anybody can see. Come and see it, Santa Barbara Design Center. Give me a minute, I open another.
Santa Barbara Pizza House is your home for the best pizza in town. Embrace a symphony of flavors and textures with our pizzas. Drawing inspiration from both Chicago's deep dish legacy and Naples' artisanal heritage, our pizzas boast perfectly executed crusts, tantalizing sauces, and the finest mozzarella. Whether you're a seasoned pizza connoisseur or just looking for a delicious meal, our pizza here is sure to satisfy. Featuring specialty pizzas named after iconic Santa Barbara streets, our mouth-watering menu will have you coming back over and over again to try each new meal. We offer a full menu of salads, sides, sandwiches, and desserts. Santa Barbara Pizza House is conveniently located at 515 State Street in the heart of downtown Santa Barbara. Visit us online at sbpizzahouse.com or call and place your order at 805-637-7721. Santa Barbara Pizza House. You won't leave hungry.
Today we are with Jess, the owner and creative director of Just LED at the Santa Barbara Design Center, and he's a marvel of lighting. So I understand there is a new recessed lighting that replaces the old clunky big ones, is more ergonomic, and you carry these. Can you explain to our viewers what this is all about and what kind of benefits they get out of it?
Yes, Michael. Traditionally, 6-inch and 4-inch has been the standard across America. The big clunky trims on the ceiling, you'll see them all over America. Since LED has come to another level on recessed fixtures, and as a designer, we like to see tight little go-away trims that you don't see, they're up in the ceiling. So we have trims that are 3.5 inches that go, the light sits up in the ceiling, so when you walk in it doesn't hit you in the face like the 6 and 4-inch traditional cans used to do. They also dim warm, so it's like the old traditional dimming. Everyone loves LED dimming to the way halogens used to. It's called warm dim, so they dim down nice and warmly. So, and it's all sat above the ceiling and it's all optical, sending shafts of light through the room, creating a great mood in the room.
Well, that's very nice, and I have seen it actually in your showroom. Come down here and see what he has to offer and make your house beautiful and warm. Thank you very much.
No problem.
This week on Michael's Minute, we are going to talk about modern and transitional rugs. At Santa Barbara Design Center, we have over 1,000 modern and transitional rugs at any given time in various sizes and colors. A modern or transitional rug can completely transform your living space. It can make a cold room comfortable or balance out an uneven contrast. We can also custom make the modern rug of your dreams, designed to your specification, taste, and color. And at Santa Barbara Design Center, we can do it faster, better, for less. That's why the top designers in the world use our modern and transitional rugs. To see our vast collection or start designing your custom masterpiece, come visit us at Santa Barbara Design Center, 410 Olive Street. Welcome back to Design Santa Barbara. Today we are in my favorite room, as you know, is the rug room. And I opened this rug. I might have shown this in the past episodes, but that must have been 10 years ago. This is one of my all-time favorite rugs, and you have to see this thing to believe it. Somebody actually wove this. I swear, I cannot paint this. Give me a canvas and a pen, I cannot paint this. This has been woven knot by knot. Must have been a master on the level of Da Vinci. Seriously, this is like crazy to me. I opened this thing, I enjoy it. I had it for many years at my own entrance, and then I figured, let's take it somewhere closer to myself, to my office. So anyway, it is a fantastic piece. It is the aspiration of these people. They live in high deserts. It comes from Kerman. Kerman, if you Google, it is in the middle of a desert. It's one of the biggest deserts in the world. It's dry, is arid, it is unlivable. But these people made it livable. And the people who are in there, their mind is into beauty, and they want to bring their paradise, their environment, they want to beautify their environment. Part of it is this. And if you look carefully, you don't need to know rugs, you don't need to be rugaholic like I am. You just look at this and go, wow, this is a beautiful work of art. So they combine several things in here. So first of all is the tree of life. You can see that tree, which is in the ancient cultures, it's actually representative of humans. So they show the tree of life because it represents us. So it comes and grows and gets bigger and gets into multiple branches and comes up. Secondary has 1,001 flowers, 1,001 flowers, milleflori in Europe. And this is what the beauty is. That's where the paradise is. Different fruit trees. You have cherries, you have willows, you have blossoming tree, you have apple tree, and so on. This is all, again, signs of paradise, they call it. Then paradise, I will say in another episode, it's actually a Persian word called pardis. Pardis comes from the word pardis, and I researched this slightly. So the pardis used to be these stops, these oases in the middle of desert. So you're going for 5-6 days in this hot climate in through the desert, and suddenly you see this oasis, and this is walled, safe, has one spring in the middle that comes up, is green all around it, and they used to call pardis. That is like, again, you're coming to paradise. So that's paradise. That shows paradise, basically. You can see the variety of the animals this person wove into. Look at that coyote chasing those rabbits. Rabbits are real. You can feel them. They look so realistic. I mean, I really cannot paint them that beautiful. You have a beautiful pheasant at top of the tree. You have these deers that is actually male and female, and you see they're running. They're running from the tiger. Tiger is a little bit menacing looking, but still far away, has a still long distance to go. You have this beautiful parrot, and look at this thing. He's so regal, hanging, holding the branch with his beak, holding one hand on that. It is real life. It looks like it's not, you can touch it. You have this beautiful crane standing here, very elegant. You have a duck, and at top of them all, who is watching him? A beautiful white eagle, and is holding, you see the branches come, is holding with his legs. This is Not very big, not that many knots, but it looks real. This is what makes this rug very special. It was woven probably in the 19th century. I would say second half 19th century, 1870s, 1880s. It's in mint condition. Whoever had it hung it on his wall. So a lot of people hang their rugs on the wall because they are actually more beautiful than most any paintings you can get. I mean, I've said this many, many times. This to me is a lot harder to make than any, let's say, Monet. God bless Monet. I love that impressionistic paintings, but you can paint that pond in like, I can paint it at least in like 3 days. It comes like 70-80% similar, but try to weave that little pheasant, impossible. I challenge anybody who can. I will be there. Then you have this beautiful border. Again, you have alternating flowers, alternating fruiting flowers. You have these beautiful lovebirds either side of that flower. The border is highly unusual. Usually you have the turtle or the hourglass design. This is very unusual. You have this beautiful colorful birds in the border. The whole thing is majestic and probably was a gift to somebody very important, and they cherished it to keep it like this. This is a rug again, let's not forget, it's not a painting. Paintings survive floods, paintings survive a lot of things because they don't step on them. This was a rug, was on the floor, people step on it. To be in this condition, they must have cherished it for many decades, and actually more than a century and a half now. So if you want to see this thing, I will hang it on the showroom. Come and look at it, enjoy it, touch it. If you wish, you can even buy it. So anyway, this is the Kerman, and with that many designs, is a masterwork. I will show you another rug in a minute. Okay, now we got two Caucasian prayer rugs. These were made both in the area called Shirvan today. It is in the Republic of Azerbaijan. These are the old states and from the former Soviet Union. I mean, the Azeris have been there for a very long time, but they used to be part of Soviet Union. Now after that 1990s, the Soviet Union fall apart and they formed their own republic. These people are Azeris, their ethnicity is Azeris, and they have Armenians, Georgians, Abkhazians living there together for millennia, and they produce some of the nicest prayer rugs, and they were very collectible in the post-Second World War. They were very collectible and people liked them, and I truly love these things. These are works of art. And as I mentioned in the past, the most prayer rugs that we know today they get sold, they are come from the Jewish heritage that they brought with themselves from Europe in the after 1492 when they got expelled out of Spain. And they are ethnographically just one of the most beautiful things that you can see, and it just have a lot of messages woven into them. So these two actually, one is darker, one is lighter. They were woven probably around 1880s, and these two are slightly feel older, maybe 1870s. Most of these were made in the second half of 19th century for exports, and how you feel them is when you touch the ground goes that way because it's easier to weave, goes faster, they can sell it. Where if they were being used actually as prayer rugs, the nap would go the other way, which is harder. They have to weave from the bottom up. This particular one has a date 1304, which should translate, probably to be 1880, 1890, somewhere around that. You have these arches, you have the different signs, like this little sign is an earring they use during the weddings and parties and celebrations. They wear those kind of big wedding earrings. You have this is a little comb, is the sign of purity. You have the beautiful eyes, again, girls, that is for against evil eyes. You have trellises. You have the crosses. The crosses, when they were weaving this comes because Armenians, the Christian sign, but actually crosses are much older. You have the stars from the sky. This particular one has 4, 5, 6 different borders, which is very nice. That one does as well. They have similar motifs, but different interpretation of it. Again, you have here the field, as you can see, they have these little elements. They are usually shrubs. They are little, they call botes, which they are little organic material. Each one is different than the next. You cannot find two that they are the same, and probably there's over 100 of them in this little rug. If you look, every one is a different motif, is different color. This one has also unusual thing woven into it, which is a camel hair. And camel hair is not very common in this kind of rugs, but if they have something special, they make it. The pile is wool, foundation is goat hair. It took probably, you can see also, so how do you say how long does it take to weave? You can see by changing the dyes. So these dyes were not permanent. You cannot go to the store, buy the dye. So the lady sheeps the sheep, shears the sheep, card it, spin the wool, and then goes to the mountains, grabs the roots of different plants and brings it home and cooks it in the small little pots over the fire. So each time, for instance, she dyes like maybe 4 pounds of navy, and that satisfies her for that duration of that stay she has in that area, which is 6 months. 6 months they are in lowland, 6 months in the highlands. So 6 months marks the changes. So if you look very carefully here, this one starts right about here, the color changes. And then it comes up, you see this kind of greenish color because she ran out of that navy. So just about here is another season. You come up, 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 right here, that indigo changes color again. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 seasons, and 4 seasons for them is 6 months at a season. So that took 2 years for her from the beginning all the way to the end, perhaps longer, but that's the 4 seasons I know it took her at least to weave this. And it is a work of art. She, again, was woven by women, as I've said a million times. So she was proud of what she did, and this shows her talent, her the more colors, the more definitive the design, the nicer the outcome is, the more artistic and better, more valuable person she is to the society. I hope you enjoy today's rugs and sharing my passion with you. Looking forward to see you next week on another episode of Design Santa Barbara.